was the one that you had highlighted was the only one that we had.
The one we talked about before, that was the only.
Okay,
Any other corrections? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Alan,
Abstain.
abstain, he wasn't here.
that was Alan.
Yes,
Thank you.
and Kurt, are you an aye as well?
Yes.
We have no new applications to be received. We have no public hearings. We have no continued public hearings, but we do have new business for 37 Scannick Road, IWWA 15-2022 for applicant Travis Nedlinger. Construction and infrastructure related to a 3-lot subdivision residential within the 150-foot upland review area.
So I'll kind of summarize here. Everything we had in zoning, it fits all regulations. We're good. The original plans they submitted in July, they showed the wetlands delineation, which was determined by the REMA, REMA Ecological Services, which I know that they'll probably speak to. Our town engineer, he had a couple of notes about the driveways, with the gutters, how they run into the gutter. I believe they've spoken about these. He recommended the soil scientist or also sign the plan, which I've already been in contact with. He will when we do the final Mylar. And then he noted some permits. The fire marshal would like just notation on the plans, noting that the fire trucks do have clear access to the future housing. West Laurel at the health department is still in the process of reviewing. He will be finishing with that for the planning and zoning commission on Tuesday. He didn't foresee anything.
Okay.
And so we have Mr. Jim Giorgio and Mr. Here in person and Mr. TJ, is it Baresi or Barisi?
Baresi.
Here to speak about the subdivision. We have a giant set of plans.
You guys wanna?
It's all TJ right now.
Okay, all TJ.
Good evening. First of all, thanks for letting me do this by Zoom. I appreciate that. For the record, my name is TJ Baresi. I'm a licensed engineer and land surveyor and the principal owner of Baresi Associates in Windsor. Office is located on Hayden Station Road. Tonight representing Travis Needlinger for an application for a permit for activity within the Upland Review Area associated with a 3-lot re-subdivision. Property is known as 137 Scantic Road, contains 37.81 acres, and it's located in the R3 residential zone. It's on the easterly side of Scantic, north of Woolham and south of Cemetery. Property is currently the home of the applicant Travis Needlinger. He has a single-family home access off Scantic Road, which is served by well and septic. Even though there's 37 plus acres, the 3-lot re-subdivision will primarily take place in the southwest corner of the property. The area of where the 3-lot subdivision will take place is 11.7 acres of the 37.8 acres. Wetlands do exist in this area and beyond. As mentioned, the limit of the wetlands in the area of the re-subdivision were flagged in the field by George Logan of REMA Ecological Services. Those flags are field located by our office and mapped as shown on the set of plans. When George flagged the wetlands, he kind of found 5 wetland regions in and around where the proposed subdivision is. And that's what he marked out and what we surveyed and flagged. The balance of the wetlands were taken from other maps and records on file. Total wetlands on the property is 3.7 acres of the 37.8. Go to sheet 3. The existing conditions. Our office prepared a handheld topographic survey of the existing conditions in the area of the proposed development. As you can see, the property is fairly flat. There's a slight grade in a northeasterly direction away from Scantic Road. Topographically, the land eventually drops down to the limits of the inland wetlands. There's an existing swale along Scantic Road, which conveys water, stormwater running from south to north towards one of the wetland pockets. The area in this area is mostly wooded and actually littered with a bunch of treetops lying on the ground. Those treetops are the result of trees being cut in the past and left behind. There is an open area in the back, cleared of the tree litter, as you can see. The wetland regions are also in an open wooded area. There is a existing dirt drive that cuts through this portion of the property right off of Scantic Road. I presume that was used or created when somebody went in and logged the property in the past. In February of 2022, this year, we performed soil deep tests with North Central District. Per their request, we installed monitoring pipes to install the water table elevation through the wet season into June. Perk tests were also performed to measure the absorption rate of the soil. All this was done for the septic system designs as required by the health department. Applicant is seeking to subdivide the property to create 3 new residential lots. The existing home will remain as 137 Scantic. New homes will be frontage lots along Scantic Road. All the lots meet the zoning regulations. Lot 1 has 1.4 plus acres. Lot 2 has 7.7 plus acres. And lot 3 has 2.5 plus acres. All lots also have the required buildable area for the zoning regulations. Shoot over to sheet 6 of your set. We have those in front of you. The grading plan. Grading plans show a conceptual home, driveway, even a shed and utilities towards each lot. All lots will be accessed by a driveway off Scantic Road. One lot, lot number 2, the center lot will be considered a rear lot per the zoning regulations. All lots will be served by private wells and on-site septic systems. The septic systems were designed for 3-bedroom homes. The plans do have very detailed septic system designs that meet the health code. The designs are based on the deep test, perk test, groundwater monitoring, all of which data is on the plans. And those plans have been submitted to North Central for their approval, and they're still reviewing them as we speak. We did minimize the grading as best we can. The rear lot is graded with a walkout. This walkout reduces the fill and grading behind the house. The result of that is less fill and activity in the regulated area. The plans have 1-foot contours for accuracy and to show exactly how each lot's supposed to be graded. There's plenty of spot grades with drainage flow arrows to show the direction of the proposed flow. Proposed activity does not change the existing drainage patterns. Cross culverts are shown at each driveway to maintain that existing swale. A drainage study was submitted for the culvert designs to assure that they were properly sized. And that study covers the existing conditions and proposed conditions, and they have been submitted for review. Erosion controls are shown throughout. We have all your typical ones: silt fence, construction entrance pads, topsoil protection, outlet protections at the pipes, things of that nature. There's also notes on the plan stating all erosion controls need to remain in place until all upgrading areas are stabilized. Also proposing a few trees along Scantic Road to help soften the exposure of the new homes after the trees are cut down for the development. As far as permitted activity, there is a total area of 37.8 acres. Area of the inland wetlands is 3.7 acres. Area of the upland review area is 17.8 acres. Area of direct wetland activity is 0. There's no direct impact to the wetlands proposed. Upland review area activity is 2.2 acres, and the total land disturbance is 3.9 acres. As mentioned, we received comments from the town engineer. He makes note of some housekeeping corrections that I need to do, which is no problem. He also requested the driveway grading be modified a little bit where it intersects with Scantic Road, and we don't have an issue with that. WPCA confirmed that there is no sewer available, so the application falls under the purview of North Central. That pretty much covers it. Obviously, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, be more than answer them to the best of our ability.
Does the board have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Rebecca.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Hi, TJ.
Hi.
This being a relatively dry season, do you have to dig quite deeply to get to this well? And how deep and how transmissible is the water that goes into the wetlands?
Digging this, were you talking about the swale?
Yeah, yeah.
So the swale out front, we're actually maintaining the existing elevation of the swale out front along Scantic Road. The cross culvert pipes that we're gonna lay down match the existing grade, so we're not changing the slope or the pitch of that swale along Scantic Road at all.
Okay. We just drove by there today and just to make sure I got the property correctly. On one side of the road, there's the church. And then on Cemetery Road, there's a house that is in sort of in the process of being repaired or stuff like that, a very large house. Is that
If you drive, if you're at Cemetery, and I think I know where the church is, and you drive south towards Woolham,
yeah,
on the left-hand side, you'll drive by some existing houses. And then you're gonna get to a heavily wooded area with no sign of development whatsoever. That's where this subdivision is proposed, that portion of the property.
gotcha.
And then right beyond that, you'll hit the first house on the corner of Woolham and Scantic on the left.
Yeah, it looked fairly flat, so it didn't seem
Yeah,
like
it is flat. It's wooded. It's those the treetops that are lying on the ground have actually littered the property and made it challenging to walk through, to be honest with you. It's a shame that they did that in the past, but
where there's trees, there's water. Is it swampy near those trees?
you know, where the wetlands are, it was wet. We did some soils tests in the far back part of the property, and those were wet. But as we moved easterly towards Scantic and higher up in elevation, we got soils that were respectable and acceptable by the health department. And that's one of the reasons we put the monitoring wells into, to get a good handle as to where the water table is when it comes to designing the septic systems and footing drains and sump pumps and things of that nature when required.
Okay, very good. Thank you, TJ.
You have a question? Greg?
Has the septic been approved?
No, unfortunately, we submitted to North Central. I don't even know when, but it was before when we submitted to you guys. And we eventually, I called Jim and I said, hey, have you heard from North Central? And he said, no. And I said, well, you know, the hearing's Wednesday. It'd be nice if we had something in hand. And I haven't heard anything. So Jim went down there, and unfortunately, it was misfiled or miscategorized or something like that, and had not been on anyone's desk yet. So we, you know, expressed the urgency of trying to get it before you guys, and that was unreasonable on their end. But they did promise they would have something in hand by for planning and zoning next week. I'm not too nervous. I was out there with them. It was me, Mike Corona, Rachel Coloni. We observed each test together. We discussed each deep test, and with all that information, the perk test information, the monitoring well information, these septic systems are designed and properly sized for the 3-bedroom homes based on the information and the data from our soils testing, and they meet the health code.
Okay.
And you know, if they have any questions or concerns, I'm fairly confident we'll be able to work something out, and there might be a tweak here and there that they might recommend. which we'll obviously comply with.
Yeah, if I actually might add, is even when we did those deep tests. If I recall, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, TJ, that all three of the set areas actually passed the health code at that time. They just wanted us to monitor all around them for the next few months, just to see what was gonna happen adjacent to them. And that's the data they got, and that's what everything's been designed to. So
Just goes up for a day or two and then drops right back
it's
down.
amazing how quickly it drops down.
On the drainage in the front along the Scannick Road, you're gonna put tile in there, piping in there, right?
Correct.
Driveway.
Yes.
And which way is the water gonna flow?
So if you're looking at your plan, it's flowing from right to left.
And it flows towards cemetery.
So it's going north, okay.
Flows north.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Rebecca.
Little squiggly arrows. you
Yes,
can
Peg.
just see 'em.
The gentleman who spoke from the audience.
I'm sorry, Jim Giorgio, 40
Thank you.
Margaret Hill Road.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, I thought you recognized his voice already.
No, nope.
She can't see me.
She can see the back of your head.
Is that all?
Any other questions?
That's all I can think
I got a couple. Well, one thing, Kurt, is when you drove down the street, you saw those two corrugated culverts sitting side of the road on your left. That's where it is. That's more or less where the center lot was. And I did look at the perk test data and that, and to my unofficial trained eye, it meets the code. And the one thing I am concerned about, well, two things, item on page 1, item number 3, which is approved without sidewalks. And I think that we should really send a communication to the planning and zoning that would probably be best, because any sidewalks is gonna upset the drainage along the edge of that road. And it's probably gonna impact the wetlands. And I think our engineer will agree with me. And I think this should be communicated to the planning and zoning.
We're requesting a waiver of sidewalks.
What-
Yeah, they'll take care of that planning zone.
Yeah, but the
Not
thing is, we should
You just said
Yeah.
that they're gonna try to get
they're
that
gonna
way. in
request-
the zone.
we should be in favor of them accepting the fee in lieu of sidewalks, because the sidewalks are gonna
Yeah, I hear
mess
what you're
this
saying.
thing up. And we are approving it without sidewalks.
Correct.
Correct.
They
That's
gotta
how-
realize that they could upset the apple cart when you start tearing into wetlands and everything for sidewalks.
If we don't get the waiver for sidewalks, then we have to put sidewalks in. That changes the whole design and we'd have to come back to you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's,
yeah.
I frankly would be against it, because I think you're gonna do too much damage. I think you got the right way.
Yeah, and currently, right now, we're doing very little impact to that swale.
I don't think they'll have any problem with planning and zoning.
Well, I'm just,
I don't think so.
I've
I've been sitting at a lot of their meetings and they're
I've
taking
seen
the
some
speech.
strange things.
I don't know, bring the money.
It don't matter.
Do you have any other questions, Alan?
Well, my only concern with this and the engineering, I'll leave it to the experts, but when we see these, a lot of times when we have problems with these is a few years down the road after they get built and somebody's, filling in the wetlands, because they don't know that it's wetlands, so like, wondering what we can do, like, if,
Are we
to,
putting it in deeds? We had mentioned this last meeting.
I
we
was-
weren't here.
I was told, and I should check further, but I was told that we are not allowed, a landowner can put something in their land record, but we can't flag it, like, for instance, as of right.
Like a
I
conservation
asked-
has to be brought by the landowner,
Yeah,
not by the.
You could request it, but they don't have
so it
to.
has to be the landowner that,
Because they used to put some of these medallion signs around in various subdivisions, I think.
Yeah, but that's a conservation easement. I mean,
Those are
I
different.
certainly, as of the builder, let's say of the 3 lots, will obviously convey to the residents or to the owners and buyers, where not to dump
Yeah,
grass clippings, whatever.
yeah, and sure, that works for the first owner, right?
yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
I wonder if the developer can put that in the final plans or something to the effect that it gets filed. You know what I mean? There's not a person who owns the property. I don't know if that's an option.
I don't know how any of that would work. I was hoping we had a flag meeting somehow, but
And the only other thing I had is page 7 on the general notes, item number 3, which is the seating and stabilization schedule, which is normally what we but we don't have it in our 14 conditions. It's just the dates, which is the normal dates. In other words, don't come into December and see the house.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Because you look what happened over on South Water Street. We let it go and it ended up down the bank. We don't have a banks here. So,
No, all my lawns. They might not be maintained well afterwards, but they all come in nice.
well, look at mine, it's dry as a bone.
Mine's horrible. Any other comments or questions or concerns? If not, I would happily entertain a motion. I don't know if there was one written.
Yeah, there's a motion.
Yeah, it's in there. I gotta
Okay.
find what
You
they-
make that motion conditional on the acceptance by North Central.
Yes,
Well,
please.
It won't go through anyway. If North Central doesn't pass it. The only alternative he's got is a pump station and a force main up to the church.
True.
Not after.
That'll cost you a fortune.
Okay,
Okay, you want the motion?
go ahead.
Make a motion. Wait a minute, I get the right one? Okay, I made a motion to approve IWWA number 15-2022, Travis W. Neidlinger owner. The request to conduct regulated activities to create a 3-lot subdivision with future infrastructure and new construction at 137 Scannick. Nearest intersection is Walm Road. Assessors map 044, block 33, lot 001.
Is there a second?
Wow.
Second.
Osborne seconds. Any further
Like
comments?
them houses.
Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Kurt. All right. You guys are all set. Thank you, TJ, and thank you,
Thank you.
Jim.
Thank you very much.
Don't work too much tonight. It's only like that.
The only thing I'll give you.
Famous last words.
Quiet.
All right, we have no old business. We have one thing for miscellaneous, which is, I think, just an update, potentially and a motion, for 232 South Main Street for the Tie and Bond Restoration Remediation Plan Development Proposal, for referral to the Board of Select. And you want to give us an update on all that?
So, as you know, in 2021, the town entered agreement with Mr. Balch, James Balch, regarding the restoration of wetlands and water courses that were impacted by the illegal dumping over at 232 through 236 South Main Street. So it was agreed that it would be 3 phases. The first phase was a soil study to determine the extent of the impact, which we completed and they reported on in the May Wetlands Commission. The next stage, which is the one we're hearing tonight, is the restoration / remediation plan development. And that is in your packet submitted for review. So this agreement would establish that Mr. Balch would submit payment prior to each of these three phases of the initial agreement. So what we need to do tonight is to complete phase 2. And they've submitted a proposal for the development for $27,500 exclusive of additional hourly rates incurred. So tonight, the Wetlands Commission must formally refer this to the Board of Selectmen for their consideration of the recommendation of the IWWA's recommendation to award this contract with Tie and Bond for the restoration remediation plan.
I hope you have that typed
I
up.
wrote that in the.
Good thing you wrote that off, because
So you're
The
been-
motion is shorter, believe me.
Yeah, the motion is just basically you accept it, you make a referral for the Board of Select.
Okay,
The only question I do have on this is, normally, if this is a town action, normally we require 3 quotes.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to go down a slippery slope and we have 1 quote, which obviously should be the people we should use, but.
Yeah.
yeah, we already started the project with them, so like, we're not
I
gonna.
think we already
switch-
did
I
that.
think we did.
Yeah,
we do
we
that?
did. We did that part, remember, way back, it was, I don't know, 5.
Well,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we
just
just formed a
don't
Yeah.
I don't wanna step in,
It was actually before Danielle.
Yeah.
How long have you been?
February.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 'cause it was,
Way before that.
it was this past winter that we,
Okay, I just
you
wanna make
brought it
sure
up and
we don't run afoul of our
Yeah.
town policies. But I guess we're
That
not
was
spending
such a
town
while
money,
back.
so we're spending Jim's money.
Right. Yeah, but still, I mean, it's.
It's
through the
only
town.
right.
Yeah, I hear you.
I would like it better if he was semi-happy with it.
I think he is. He's agreed to it all. And I don't know if that means he's happy with it, but.
I
he's
know
agreed
he's
to it,
happy
so.
with it. Can't blame him. Okay, we'll make a motion. The Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Agency awards the contract to Tight and Bond for the development of a restoration / remediation plan for the property located at 232 South Main Street, East Windsor, Connecticut, and formally refers it to the Board of Selectmen for approval.
Is there a second?
Second. Okay, give it to.
Give it to
Give it to
Osborne.
Rick. Yeah,
I'm the second
Al.
guy.
Any further?
Sorry.
Rebecca, who's the second?
Osborne.
Thank you.
Any further
keep
comments?
Al out of it for now.
Will this make it onto,
That's right.
Tomorrow night, I have to give your motion.
It's on our
Oh,
agenda
yeah,
for
I
tomorrow.
gotta
oh, I
give
was thinking it was gonna be for the next one.
No,
okay.
Jennifer tomorrow morning, so they can.
Perfect. Just, can you send us an email when, if it gets.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow night and stuff. Okay, yeah, so all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Thanks, Gart. All right, so that's miscellaneous agent review reports and decisions. Number one, we have no new complaints or violations. What's that?
No wetlands one.
Oh, this is number two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, okay, so nothing new to report, but then we do have an update for the Skylar
Skylar.
report.
So yes, everyone's been asking about Skylark. Ruth and I went out there, and did a site inspection, with Mr. Beamer. Mr. Bruce Beamer. He's the owner, and we did it also with his soil scientist who's been working with him. They had previously been in violation for doing fill.
Okay,
And they did remediation. They had the wetlands delineated with flags. So Ruth and I went out there, we took pictures of the perimeter. They did do some extra fill. Sort of in the corner. I mean, literally maybe like that, like the corner that
okay.
much. And we kind of pointed out wetlands are not in 90-degree angles, so. Mr. Beamer has agreed that he would come and speak to the Wetlands Committee, Commission in September.
Okay.
And he will work on a plan whether or not, because he immediately said, well, you know what, I'll remove that, restore the wetlands, but it's literally a small triangular area. We said, hold on, let them decide if they want you to perhaps use a different section or what they would like you to do with it. So he's gonna come talk to all of that, but we did send the official violation for that. So the letter is what you have.
Yep.
Just for the record, reminding them of. what-
And will they provide us a survey, a map, something for?
Yeah, they're gonna provide
Okay.
a full plan to everything.
Perfect.
So that's what they'll be. I think they're gonna come speak to you informally. If I'm not mistaken, I think the agreement was to speak to you informally in the September meeting and present plans for whatever kind of was discussed,
Okay,
at the next meeting. So they're,
You understand how much actual wetlands they did.
yeah, we just don't know
yeah,
exactly.
and that's why they've done I know that the talk has been for them to put some new hangers up, and they said down the line, of course, that's something they do want to do, but it's not anything that's in the
Yeah,
process right
They're
now.
just
There's
clearing
no-
trees from what we had all talked about.
And that was from the prior.
Yeah.
Nothing new's been done basically from the prior
Okay,
violation.
well, that's.
So that's what.
Okay. So there's no other violations, we have no conference seminars, trainings, there's no correspondence, anything for general board discussion?
They asked me to be on for another term.
Oh, yeah,
Do you want me or not? Hell, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I said hell yeah too. They asked me.
I was happy to see a reappointment for you tomorrow. I wasn't gonna bring it up in case you forgot.
What, do you want me to be secretary? No, you're doing a good job.
I slipped up and said yes.
Good, because we were all.
You see how great it is.
See now, loving it, Rick.
Maybe in a few more years, you'll have to come pick me up and bring me over here.
Jason said, hey, look, can I take you out to lunch and you'll still be on the Wetlands Committee? And you said, you only heard the first part, right?
Yeah.
Any public participation?
This is phenomenal. I love it.
And we don't have anything for executive session, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
I can-
All in favor? Peg at
Aye.
7:30.
Yeah, I'll bring them back to the commission. Have them.
Thank you.
Yep. Can you stop the recording? Stop the recording.
Yep.